Gee whiz. Man, what planet are you from? Sir? Are you from Earth? You don't treat people like this. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Nothing? Nothing? You don't see anything wrong with this accusation? You don't see anything wrong here? And I want to make sure that this lady is protected. I mean, he's a bully and a thug.
But I do know that I believe he's probably 74, 75 years old. He's under. I was working at 7-Eleven.
Wait a second.
Yes, he is.
Well, hold on. So if he's victimized, the fact that he is a sex offender, then he's not to be protected under the law like everybody else?
I didn't say that.
It's what you inferred.
No.
You know, why don't you? I've heard enough for you. I know where you're headed. I know where you're headed. We're not talking about the complainant. That should have been brought up at that time if that was so important to you, but it wasn't. Now, right now, I want to know why he's not following my probation terms.
Judge Stevens has two defendants who seem to thrive on bullying, but today, they've finally met their match. The first defendant can't seem to follow the rules, not just in the outside world, but even in Judge Stevens' courtroom as well. Repeated altercations with his wife and police officers have landed him behind bars time and time again. Now, with a long rap sheet and a bad attitude, Judge Stevens might just have to put this unruly bully in timeout until he can get himself under control. The second case involves a man on probation for picking on an elderly person. Even after being convicted of his crime, he's failed to pay restitution to his victim. To make matters worse, he's brought his mother to court today, who is doing nothing but making excuses for him.
Okay, you were Larry Grace, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, looks like Mr. Grove is now your attorney because your previous attorney has retired. So,
Yeah.
have you met him? You know him?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We'll be today, Judge. I apologize.
Let's see where we are on this thing. All right. You were charged with the second-degree felony of aggravated assault, but this one isn't going to be easy for you because you've got these prior convictions back to 91. Yeah. No, January 3rd of 91 and then November of 91. You were convicted of felony aggravated assault on a peace officer. 91 was not a good year for you, obviously. But if all of this was true, you would be enhanced to a first-degree felony punishment. So you're looking at up to life imprisonment here. So obviously, this is real important. Oh, right. Okay. This is family assault.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Where is the complaint, Acacia? Where is she now?
She left out.
With you,
Yes, sir.
sir?
Yes, sir. She came. She came to court.
She came with you?
I came.
Did she come with you?
Yes, sir. I caught the bus.
Well, why is she here, do you think?
She's here. Supporting.
Why would she be supporting you?
Sick of married.
You committed a crime, according to the grand jury, against your wife,
Yes, sir.
which doesn't, the marriage does not give you any right to commit crimes to the person you, quote, love
Yes, sir.
and was, quote, devoted to.
Yes, sir.
So, you think it's a better crime? It's all right to commit a crime? Assault, this was aggravated assault. Let's see. Striking her about the head and body with your hands, and then used a deadly weapon, namely a knife, during the commission of the assault. That's what the indictment says.
I didn't.
Okay. If I had $1 every time somebody said that, but they say that, and you'd be surprised how many people plead guilty or are found guilty in spite of them saying that. That's why we have the process. The rule is also, you shall not have any contact with the victim. She's the victim. I'm not sure you followed that rule. I mean, I know what's going on. Too often this happens. You think you can assault the person you quote love, like your spouse or girlfriend, and it's generally the man who's accused of this. But then after it's over with and you get charged, you're in a spot. And then you go plead for mercy from the victim. And they're put in a bad position to feel guilty that you committed the crime and you hurt them. And they're supposed to feel guilty. Is that the way it works? That's the way it's working. I see this over and over and over again. It's not fair to the lady. It's not fair to the spouse, even when it's a man who's the victim. Were y'all married ceremoniously?
So we married with court.
Okay, it was a ceremony.
So,
Well, you took vows.
so,
Well, I can guarantee you the grand jury says you broke those. But the point is that you're not supposed to have any contact. You're not supposed to make that lady feel badly about this. I'm not going to allow this thing to be dismissed. We're going to let a jury decide this. But you can't have any contact with her. You can't get near her. In fact, I want a GPS device so I know where you are at all times. Because you've already broken the rule. And the bondsman told you that. Everybody's got the same bond conditions, sir. Do you have a bondsman?
so,
Hold on. This is serious.
so,
We've got somebody charged with an aggravated assault, and he has now broken the rules, and he's with her, and is obviously
so she paid.
you can sit over there until you stop interrupting me,
So,
because it's obvious
so,
with your 1, 2, 3, 4 prior convictions, which are drugs, burglary, aggravated assault, and now a new aggravated assault. You've got a hard time following the rules. You've got a propensity. But the thing that bothers me here, you can make your bad choices, but it's the people who you hurt. And especially your wife. That's what the grand jury says. Now, you're presumed innocent, but still, sir, this is serious allegations, and the rules are the rules. You can't have any contact with her, even if you're married. I'm sorry about that. And it's just, the real sad thing is a bunch of strangers like me have to intervene into your private life so that you can do the right thing that's decent and based upon the vows you took to your wife. Honor and support. I mean, that was all, I'm sure, included in what the judge probably told you about what you're supposed to do for someone you claim you love. You're supposed to work as a team,
so,
not as an enemy where you can, let's see, threaten her with a knife and cause bodily injury by striking her. She said to the police, you struck her in her mouth. Really? You're going to hit somebody, a woman in the face with your hand, causing her lip to bleed? Tried to get away to wipe her face. You followed her, struck her again on the top of her head with your hand, retrieved the knife, approached her while you held the knife. You struck her in the right eye with a closed fist, causing a laceration. Really? To a lady? Well, anyway, I don't like this. We're going to protect this poor lady from evil people like you. This is evil, especially with this rich criminal history of yours. This is the first time convicted of aggravated assault on a peace officer. The rules don't apply to you. You just assault people, whether they're in authority or whether they're supposed to be somebody you're supposed to love and honor, protect. Gee whiz. Man, what planet are you from? Sir, are you from Earth? You don't treat people like this, especially somebody you're I'm railing on now because it's just not right.
So,
It's not decent, not morally right, but it's not legally right. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Nothing? Nothing? You don't see anything wrong with this accusation? You don't see anything wrong here? All right.
Your Honor,
All right.
because I have not met Mr. Grace, and that's not his fault, it's my fault that we have not discussed it. I can go over the, no contact. Also can speak to, Mrs. Grace. After this hearing, I'd like to ask the court to reset this for about 4 weeks. So
I'd like
that Mr. Grace and I
work
can make
that,
sure
work
that.
that through the DA's, through the Mr. Laird and the DA's office, because what's happened here in how long of he was indicted in January. So what's happened here, it has obviously not just occurred overnight. I mean, he's been disobeying the rules of law and the rules of this court in all cases in a consistent pattern, obviously, not only for years, but in this case. And I want to make sure that this lady is protected. I mean, she can't suffer this kind of
Yes,
treatment and then him not follow the rules. I mean, I imagine she's probably thinking, my God, I got assaulted. And now what am I supposed to do? Where do I go? How do I mean, he's a bully and a thug is the way the grand jury puts it. What's a poor lady to do? Where's she supposed to go for help? Where's she supposed to go for help?
Yes, sir. It's my understanding they did not come down here together. She drove, he rode a bus so they would not have contact. But I can talk to Miss Grace, and I'm sure Mr. Laird would be happy to talk to her.
I want a GPS device so I know where you are. You can't have any contact with her until I otherwise order it. You're going to have to, in 24 hours, have a GPS device on you. Where do you live? This is an easy question. Where do you live?
just got an apartment on North Street. I gotta go get the lease today.
What's the address, sir?
That's it.
You don't know?
I don't know. It's,
You're making this up, aren't
no,
you?
sir, I'm not making this up. I should call my case manager right now. It's been a top. They gave me a voucher for apartment for the whole year.
He's unable to stay in the same house with his wife.
That's right.
Judge.
That's the
Obviously,
rule.
He understands that. This is a separate place, and
It's
you
on
guys
Wall
through
Street.
Tabletop MHMR.
Yes, sir. 70 across from the Chris and
Well, where are you employed? Are you working somewhere?
No, sir.
When was the last time you had an income
I haven't been working.
that wasn't government subsidized, an income where you worked for someone?
I've been going through treatment it's been a top.
Were you going through treatment in 91 when you committed all these crimes? 30 years ago? Were you in treatment back then in 91? That's a yes or no. Okay.
Taking medication, psychiatric medication.
Mhm.
Take like 12 pills.
Sir,
Take like 12 pills.
you mean right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But that doesn't mean you can assault people and threaten them, right?
Yeah.
This is terrible. We're lucky something bad didn't happen that wasn't even worse. Would you agree?
Yes, sir.
I'm not going to bog down any longer, but the worst thing is on our watch here. Something bad happens to her. You do something like this that's worse because we know what you have the capability of doing. And then you're not following the rules that we're supposed to enforce to protect you. Freeze the action. What is your bond right now?
40,000.
Who posted that?
My hand.
Why aren't you taking care of yourself? Independent, you know? Like being in the church.
Looking for jobs.
That's, I mean, my goodness, sir, how old are you?
What?
51. And you're still dependent on others? And committing crimes? Again? You got 4 convictions, felony convictions here. You're supposed to be learning from
Yes, sir.
your mistakes. I'm worried about that lady. Well, anyway, they say she's out there, but she may not be aware of what authority and power she has to protect herself from this guy.
I'm gonna go talk to her.
Please, please meet with her and inform her of. This is a mess now we're having to fix because of you. Look, I want an announcement here in 4 weeks.
Yes,
Can you
sir.
do that?
I'm just with Mr. Grace talking about his Spindletop and MHMR. It may take a little while for me to get that
I know.
information from them, Judge. That's the only thing.
The safety of people are at risk here.
Yes, sir.
I know
understand.
you have to take care of your client, but you
Yes,
got
sir.
people who with 4 prior convictions, a felony crime of violence, aggravated assault on a peace officer, and now aggravated assault on his wife.
Yes, sir.
This is just we
Those
got a
were
lit
30
fuse on a stick of dynamite here.
Those were 30-some years ago, Judge. I'm not saying.
No, I'm
things
talking
have
about
happened.
it was, but it's
Prior, I'm sorry.
I just, but David, you know, what the great author wrote, the past is never really in the past. It's with us. It doesn't disappear. It may be a while back, but it's not disappeared.
Yes, sir.
Well, that was who wrote that? It was great. Hemingway.
So
Believe.
4 weeks.
Get a resetting.
Come forward. You are Mr. Savoy,
Yes, sir.
and Ms. Valier is here. Your probation officer. You have been placed on probation since 2022 for the 3rd-degree felony of injury to an elderly person. So you were placed on 10 years deferred or unadjudicated probation. Also, there was restitution, I believe, that was to be ordered in the amount of $14,374.19. So it's been 2 years. Where are we on progress?
Well, since he's been on probation. he
Oh boy,
paid-
I know the lady. Just like my sister. I can tell this isn't going to end up good. Go ahead.
We don't pay $462
Mm-hmm.
since been on probation.
Over here. Your attention is focused right here to me, not over there. Are you kidding me?
He's artistic. I'm his mother.
Okay, come on up. Come on up. All right.
We pay-
Most people, many people have mental illness when they come before this court, because most of the acts that are committed defy logic and aren't typical of somebody who's stable. But this man has not been declared incompetent. This man has not been declared insane, and he may have a mental illness, a problem, but there is nothing that should prevent him from completing the requirements in this case. And he'll be held to the same standards. No one raised competency. No one raised insanity. And that was an opportunity to be done at the right time. Whoever the attorney was, if they didn't do that, that would have been a problem. But even the state had a duty to tell me if there was a problem that would prevent him from being able to follow the requirements of probation and thoroughly resolve this case. So the fact that he's imperfect, like all of us, is not a problem with me. It's just you got a bar set and you're going to have to get over it, which means you're going to have to follow these requirements and get them done. And I know a lot of people who have severe disabilities who are able to work. And we're talking about the paying the loss back. How much has been paid here in 2 years? $422. You receive a disability check of $943 monthly, right?
Yes,
Can you
sir.
speak? Oh,
He doesn't know. I'm the one that handle his finances.
okay. I don't remember, of course, we have 5,000 cases at any given time. I don't remember, and I'm really good. I don't remember you being here when we disposed of this case, but were you here when he was going through the plea and everything?
She
No,
was-
sir.
Why not? If there was a,
I wasn't told anything.
when I speak, you stop.
Yes, sir.
Because when we can't both speak over each other because she has to take everything down as a court reporter and she's unable to one or more than one person speaking at one time. If this is such a problem, why weren't you here then? If we're having an issue, why are you here now? Why weren't you here at the disposition of the case to bring up anything that would have affected his ability to perform on probation? Where were you?
I was at my house
All right,
because I didn't know anything about,
you didn't know anything about it?
no, sir.
Okay. Well, you didn't know he had been indicted for injury to an elderly person back in, that was August of 22. This says this occurred on July 14th of 2021 involving somebody named Gordon Simmons. Do you know who that is?
I do not know him personally, but I do know that I believe he's probably 74, 75 years old. He's under. I was working at 7-Eleven.
Wait a second.
Yes, he is.
Well, hold on. So if he's victimized, the fact that he was a sex offender, then he's not to be protected under the law like everybody else?
I didn't say that.
It's what you inferred.
No,
You know, why don't you, I've heard enough for you. I know where you're headed. I know where you're headed. We're not talking about the complainant. That should have been brought up at that time if that was so important to you, but it wasn't. Now, right now, I want to know why he's not following my probation terms. Why?
Well, when he reports, he comes in, he reports, he pays $20 on his fees. He's been paying that since. he
Shame
started
on you.
probation. And for the past 2 months, he had actually paid $40 on his fees. Each, August and this month.
Okay. Are you physically able to work?
No, sir.
Well, what are you unable to do physically? Are you able, but I mean, are you able to lift things and walk?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, that's what I mean, physically. I mean, you can like carry a box from here to there and things like that, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. You're not physically disabled. You don't drive a car, do you? Okay. Do you walk? Are you able to walk?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to run?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to climb stairs?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. What else? What are we doing about helping him? I know we have a program to help people get employed who, have trouble getting employment because they got to be able. We're trying to make people as independent as possible under their circumstances. So, what is it we can do to help him? Because this is a lot of money that needs to get paid back, and this is hopeless at this rate. Do you live alone?
Hello.
Your mom. Who else lives in the house?
It's just us.
All right. Okay. Well, if you're going to live with her, the right thing to do is be as independent as you can, and then help pay some of the costs too, since you're living there, right? As an adult, that's what you want to do. That's what we want you to do, is to be as independent as possible. How far did you go in school?
I finished.
Did you finish?
Yes, sir.
You have a high school equivalency?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
He graduated from Long Beach, Texas, but he graduated 2 years early because of his disability.
Nonetheless, he has the ability. I'm expecting better than this. You need to show some improvement on at least searching for opportunities and working with the probation office to try to get an income that can pay this back in a lifetime. Because at this rate, even if you paid $100 a month, we're talking about 143 months. That's a long time, 10 years.
I'll do that.
It's not your obligation. But if that's what you want to do, that's fine. I can't stop you from doing that. But what I want is Mr. Savoy to become as independent and as successful and to achieve as much as he's able to achieve under his circumstances in life. Not to just fester, but to be productive and successful. That's probably, I'm sure that's what you want too.
Yes, I do, because I take him to spinal talk all the time.
Yes, ma'am.
He goes to spinal talk a lot. And his other probation officers, when he was first put on probation 2 years ago, it was a Hispanic lady. I believe her name was Maria. She's the one that explained to me that I only had to pay $10 to $20 a month
Well,
for him. So that's why I was paying.
well, it's a
him.
nominal amount. But you pay what you can, but at that rate, I mean, it'll be lifetimes to pay the complainant back, fix the problem, and then everybody move on and be the best they can be. That's what we want.
Well, the doctor doesn't want him doing community service either because of all the people. Because he hears voices and all of that other stuff. So,
Was he taking medication for that?
yes, sir, he is.
Okay. Once again, nobody brought up a competency issue or an insanity issue, which are issues that are the levels in determining where he is capable of functioning normal. And I haven't heard anything about it. And until then, the law says you're presumed able to do things. You're presumed unless it's shown otherwise. And this was the time to have brought it up, but nobody did.
I didn't know when to come.
Nonetheless, his attorney was a competent lawyer and handled this. But we need these people, two things: you to perform as best you can be and progress as much as you can under your circumstances, and for the people to be paid back for the loss. How that is done, I'm not the one fashioning the answer to it. Y'all have to figure it out like every probationer does.
Well, I've tried talking to his probation officer here.
This lady?
Yes, this lady
Mhm.
here. This is my first time seeing her and meeting her in person because when she became his probation officer, I did have a long conversation with her, talked to her, and she seemed like she was real understanding and
She is.
And okay, well, when I talked to her the second time over the phone, she was very rude, hanging up in my face and all that. No,
Well,
no, sir.
yeah, I disagree. See, it's, I guess, a perception issue, but at the end of the day, the court makes the determinations, and
Yes.
I'm not known to be.
Yeah, and I would like
Unfair.
to, if I may, I would like to affirm for the record that I've been reviewing the file as well as the PSI that was done on this matter. There's nothing that indicates about this issue. It's not something that was noted whenever the officer read this man his Miranda warnings and provided his waiver and an admission to the particular offense that he's pled guilty to. More pointedly is that when he was given an opportunity to detail that,
Who's he?
this
The
defendant,
defendant.
whenever he did his PSI and was given history, he didn't provide any of the history that we're hearing today.
But was he in a position to do that?
That I can't speak to, but I'm just
Appreciate and
saying
understand what he was supposed to do. But
before
at
this
the end of
moment.
the day, see, what is your name, ma'am?
Her name is Stacy Cheek.
Ms. G, at the end of the day, the man has a high school equivalency education. Unless they just gave that away, that has a level of achievement where he is competent to understand, appreciate. He knows basic subject matters and functions. No one said he was incompetent. No one claimed that he was mentally ill. See, so these are things that, if they're valid, should have been brought up a long time ago. I mean, it's like the train's been crossing the country, and now from San Francisco to Miami, as we're approaching Miami, then go, you know what? The train shouldn't have left in San Francisco. We're turning around. That's not the way it works. That's why the process is built up to deal with these along the way. But unless they're giving away high school educations, just giving it away, he would have had to have made an achievement, unless you're going to allege that those people were incompetent in their jobs.
Well, him and some other kids.
Ma'am?
Him and his other kids, they only had like 4 or 5 other kids in his class. It was a very
really?
small class.
Well,
For
that's
special.
the recipe for higher learning.
For special ed.
Anyway,
And the officer that did arrest him knew that
Yes, sir.
he was a spinal tap patient.
okay. Does he live with you?
Yes.
Okay.
He always has.
He's always lived with you.
Yes, always.
But I don't remember you being up here on these hearings at all.
No one has called my phone.
Well, you didn't know that the person who
knew he
lived in
was-
your home, your son that you're saying is not as independent as he purports to be in the file that I'm looking at,
I knew.
needed your kind of assistance? You didn't, I mean, we have a process from an initial appearance, an arraignment, hearings, then a plea hearing, then a sentencing hearing, and you never
No, sir.
bobbed up?
No, sir, because I didn't know anything because he got arrested on the 31st of July.
Was he in custody that whole time?
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
He didn't get out until right before his
But-
birthday in November.
But I mean, but all of these are public records. I mean, you never inquired if you needed to be here. You never inquired, when is he going to be in court next? When is he set for court? Because
I called.
my staff, somebody would have told you it's a public record, and you would have been able to pull dockets and look him up.
On a positive note,
All right.
Judge,
Yeah.
the probation officer points out that he was on what's labeled as the MHI caseload, which is the mental health initiative caseload. And he completed that and has moved forward to the mental health caseload, which he's been on since June of 2024. So
Which means what?
means
What
that we're
difference is that?
well, the difference,
Probation.
The forensic program, they are more hands-on with them. Here we go. Go to the doctor's appointment.
Is that right, sir?
I think it was.
Are you feeling better about, are you doing better now?
Yes, sir.
Good.
So-
Okay.
my point was we're doing what we can from our side, Judge.
And again, on restitution, you pay what you can under the circumstance. And that's all the law requires. But what we want really is for all people to achieve the best they can be under their circumstances. Okay. So whatever that is, under his circumstances, what do we need to do now? Anything else to help him move forward? Yours, Mom. What else can the probation office do to help him?
It's whatever, like she had asked me, she talked to me about him doing his anger management on my laptop. I paid for that. He did it. But I did have to assist him with it, with the help
Okay.
on the laptop
Okay.
because he's not computer
Literate.
Yes, sir. So I had to help him with that. But like, if y'all still want him to do community service or whatever, is there anything he could do besides the public? Like, is there anything else? Because
Why don't y'all work that out
No,
and let
community
me,
service was waived. It was waived.
there you go. There's your answer.
Is there anything else you want him to do?
No, that's all we have to do. It's just his fees.
Try to get an income to be able to pay the restitution back. I know you're saying, oh, I'll pay it, but I'd rather him meet an obligation, which is normal and customary for everybody. When we have an obligation, a debt that we have to pay, we're required to pay it back. And I'd like to see him do it and be as responsible a person as I think he is able to be under his circumstances. One to achieve as close to normalcy as he's able to, right? That's what
Yes,
we
sir.
all want.
Yes, sir, I do. That's what I'm trying to ask her, how much do you want me to pay? Because if I pay, which.
Here's what we're gonna do. I want y'all to, can you work with that later? And then run it by me and see, because at the end of the day, I'm the last decision maker on it and sign off on it.
Okay.
But if y'all can resolve something that is reasonable, I'm always agreeable to it.
Yes, sir.
But also whatever we can help him be the best he can be.
Okay,
And you live with him every day. We just see him part-time.
right.
So work with her on, she'll get to me on modifying any terms and conditions of probation that can help him successfully complete this.
Okay.
And he does well. We always reward people by shortening their term of probation.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? You know how.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
Yeah. We reward. Okay. That's a fact. I do it every day. Because
I
you
appreciate
can't do 5,000 people. And if they get it, they're fixed, we're on the right track, then good. We trust they'll do fine. We
Yes,
got
sir.
others, we have fires we have to fight. And if it's not a fire, we can move on. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's review this though in about 3 months, just to see how he's doing. Okay,
Mhm.
please get a resetting there, sir. Thank you. Bradley Atkins, Dustin.
All comments, viewpoints, interpretations, and insights expressed in this video are for education and entertainment purposes. All individuals featured in the video are to be presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Please do not attempt to contact, locate, or engage with any individuals featured in the video.